welcome to the 2018 Judith S. Kaye Program, Conversations on Women and the Law. I am, as most of you know, Carmen Ciparick. I'm chair of the Board of Trustees of the Historical Society, as opposed to our president, Albert Rosenblatt. I've been asked to speak about myself and my journey through the profession as a woman and as a Hispanic, but my journey would not have been possible without other journeys undertaken by the women who came before me. When I first entered the profession, after graduating from St. John's Law School, I understand St. John's is in the house, right? Okay. That was over 50 years ago, and we were just a handful of women. My law school graduating class only graduated 6 women. That was in 1967, and I believe I was the only Hispanic, but I don't really know since we were all still in the shadows back then. So I went to work at the Legal Aid Society in the South Bronx, and lo and behold, I met another woman lawyer, also later to become a judge, one Peggy Bernheim, who some of you may remember. We became fast friends and set out to conquer the world. She advised me to join the City Bar, the Women's Bar Association, and the Puerto Rican Bar Association, which I promptly did. So the first time I entered this great hall, there certainly weren't too many women occupying these seats. And here we are, 50+ years later. How our numbers have grown. I didn't know her then, but I am quite certain that Judith Kaye was among the handful of women in attendance. She had pursued the path of big law. I pursued the path of public service, leaving legal aid after a couple of years and joining the court system, where I served in several non-judicial positions. And in fact, I see Michael F. McEnany is here tonight. He hired me into the court system in 1969, and the rest is history. Thank you, Mike. Mayor Ed Koch appointed me to the criminal court in 1978, and I was elected to Supreme Court in 1982. And it was about that time that I first met Judith Kaye. She was appointed by Governor Mario Cuomo as an associate judge to the Court of Appeals in 1983. It was great for the women on the trial bench to have a woman on the highest court in New York. We were also very proud, and Judith befriended us all. I remember she attended functions when women judges and lawyers were being honored, always there with a comforting word and moral support. She was elevated to Chief Judge in 1993, and that very year, Governor Mario Cuomo, I think here he is, nominated me for appointment to the Court of Appeals. I became the second woman and first person of Hispanic heritage to sit on the court. Judith thanked the governor for giving her a baby sister. It had only taken 10 years, but she was delighted. My first night in Albany was a snowy January night, and Judith welcomed me with a warm hug and a bottle of champagne. That was so Judith. She became a friend and mentor, and soon thereafter, Governor Pataki gave us a third woman, Judge Graffio, and a year later, yet a fourth, Judge Reed, who's in Europe right now. That's why she's not here with us tonight. We were the majority in a bench of 7. I'll show you a couple of slides. That's the court when we were only 2, and here's the court when we were 4.
Majority.
A majority. So we were a majority in a bench of 7. We worked together, we played together, we shopped together, we dined together, we supported each other as only women can. Those were wonderful years. The men on our court, Al, you can attest to this, the men on our court sometimes didn't know what to make of us. We were fearsome. I recall one very funny story. We would, all 7 of us, ride a van, our judge-mobile, we called it, to dinner every night while we were in Albany. And one night, Judith discovered she had a run in her stocking. And the rest of the conversation was not about the esoteric legal principles espoused by those lawyers who had argued before us earlier in the day, but about pantyhose. Where do you buy them? Do mail order? How long do they last? Etc. And we remember that, Al? You were there. We figured Judge Cardozo would be turning in his grave, hearing 4 judges of New York's highest court chatting about pantyhose. After all, it was Judith who insisted on installing a separate bathroom behind the bench for the ladies of the court. Again, so very Judith, right? We worked very hard. Judith Kaye's example inspired us. Judith was so very meticulous and strove so hard to make her writings clear, reasonable, and worthy of the strong reputation enjoyed by the Court of Appeals. She was always very aware that we were writing for the entire bench and bar and making lasting contributions to the jurisprudence of our great state. And lasting contributions she made, not only in her jurisprudence, but also she spearheaded groundbreaking court innovations like the reform of the jury system, the development of our commercial division, and other specialized problem-solving courts. She was also very committed to diversity in the profession and a friend and supporter of minority and women's causes. After she left the court and went to Skadden, and I thank Skadden, she still continued her innovative efforts. We know about the International Arbitration Center that she established with the help of the organized bar. We know of her good work on the Children's Commission. Her untimely illness wreaked havoc on her body, but not her spirit. Judith, who over the years had helped so many of her friends and family members, including her beloved husband, Stephen, your dad, through their long illnesses, in the end, was not able to help herself. But she never lost her spirit, and that joyful, funny, smart lady that we all remember lives on in all our memories. So Judge Graffio and I lost a good friend, but we were made better judges and better lawyers because of her example, right? Without Chief Judge Kaye, there would not have been a Judge Ciparick and a Judge Graffio sitting on the Court of Appeals bench. So hopefully, when young women lawyers today read our writings or seek out role models, they will remember those who paved the way. It was a great run, but there's indeed life after the bench. Like Judge Kaye, Judge Graffio and I are working for big law firms, and like Judge Kaye, we continue to practice law as she taught us, with integrity and dedication and commitment to our clients, profession, and the rule of law.